August the 5th. And this will probably be posted on the 7th. So a couple days from now, get me a chance to get it all put together the way I do. But I wanted to come on for Flosstube number 17. Can't believe it's been 17 episodes. I started about a year and a half ago, I guess. I've been trying to work out the best way to put, share what I want each month. I have a lot between 4 weeks, especially haul. So what I'm going to do going forward is, as things come in the mail when I order, I should go on a non-buying September probably, but it just seems to happen. So the easiest way for me is, when it comes in the mail, is to record a little snippet of those items, and then when I go to put my Flosstube together, I will just combine those videos and just start it as my haul. I have just a few things that's come since my last haul video, but where I insert it in the video is either going to be at the very beginning, or I'll wait till I'm talking about a few things and insert it there. Just depends on how it all flows. But I think that way my videos won't be extra long because of all the haul. But for today anyway, I wanted to share of course some starts that I did the last month. I'll of course share what I've worked on in cross stitch as well as sewing and crochet, because like I said in my last Flosstube, I like to share what I've been working on in all of the different crafts that I do, between hooking and crochet and sewing and cross stitch. So I'll try to break it up in the videos so that it's not, if you want to leave, you can leave. But I guess I'll just start first maybe with a little life. That way we can kind of just share, and you probably see at the beginning of the videos pictures of things that I've done throughout the month, so I won't go into too much detail. But let's see, last month, the last time I had a Flosstube was I think July 7th, right around there, and so that's why I'm hoping to post this again on the 7th, so it's a good 4 weeks between each video. I wish I could do every 2 weeks, but it just, summer's been kind of busy and hot. It's still hot here. I think today we got up to 110, which was kind of crazy. And we haven't been going up to the lake every weekend because of the heat, and then my husband's obligations at church, so playing in the orchestra and stuff, so we ended up staying here a few of those weeks. But a couple of them we did end up at the lake with Briar, and she loves the water. So because of that, last month we ended up buying a small little blow-up pool for here at this house, and she can play in it in the backyard, and I'll share pictures of that. I'm looking down at my notes, I'm sorry. Just make sure I cover everything. I did take down my 4th of July, because last month we were all decorated for the 4th of July, so that happened on the 18th of July. Got the holiday over with and decided it was time to pack it up and put out my blue and white decor. I might stick in some pictures at the end of what that is looking like now. I didn't do a house tour or anything. It's probably not necessary, but I do like this time of year to put my blue and white things out, and hopefully I can get some of these projects that I've been doing. You'll kind of see as I go through. I'd like to get some blue and white cross stitches done to kind of put around the house and in that. Other things that I did last month, just organization wise, I finished a few closets around in the house, as well as I ended up finally bringing my 3D printer into the craft room, and I put it on the table. We did not end up putting the TV where we thought, because it would require a lot of trying to figure out how to plug it in with the DVD player, and so I just kept it there because I think it'll be fine, and I'll share pictures of what that looks like over there. My son is supposed to come over tomorrow, and I really want to get that started because there's some things I want to start making with the 3D printer that will help in my crafts, as you know, cross stitch as well as sewing. So that'll be fun to kind of learn those things and share them here as well. So I'm kind of excited to get back to some 3D printing. I've done some in the past with my coffee and little gadgets and things, so I found quite a few crafty things that I want to attempt. Other than that, I've had, you know, mentioned my mom before with her health. She's doing better, but she did end up having, it's called a cardioversion for her heart. She had had AFib and didn't realize it, so they ended up doing that procedure. It's been about a week now, so she's recovering from that and doing well from that. She goes to the doctor next week to talk meds and stuff like that, but I am grateful for those that remembered her, and I just wanted to kind of update you on those kind of life things. A few things that happened also last month that I was excited about. It was, I think, on the 19th of July when I had heard, and you probably heard of Katie from So Tattered. I did not realize she was in my Texas area, and I got to talking with her, I think it was on Instagram, and she had mentioned or asked me if I was going to attend a sit and stitch in not too far from here, Denton, or Aubrey, Texas. And when she told me that, of course, I had to get right online to kind of find out the info from it. And I have been going to a quilt shop for meeting other ladies, but I think this was a little different in that it's more set up like a retreat, and you have people sign up to come, and I think it costed like $5, which is nothing, but it's an all-day sit and stitch on a Wednesday, and they're doing it monthly, so apparently this was their second time doing it, and I of course had to sign up, so I was really getting excited about, you know, of course meeting Katie as well as a few other stitchers, and then just being in that atmosphere of kind of like a retreat, but just a day retreat. So I signed up for that and really was excited to think about what I wanted to bring and stitch on, and of course I brought way too much stuff. And I was even late getting there because I was repacking my bag and making sure I could fit what I wanted to bring, and then I ended up only working on one project. So I think that's how it usually goes on retreats, from what I understand from people. But while I was there, I'll just share you a few things that they have a quilt shop as well as a antique shop. So of course I had to go in the antique shop and look around, and I didn't end up buying any antiques, but I love to look and find things. They had little toy singer machines and just all the Christmas kind of things. So I just love an antique store, so I enjoyed doing that. But I found a little charm with a sewing machine on it, so I had to pick one up, and I plan on going to these again, so I just thought maybe I would pick up a charm each time I go. They're $5 a piece, but these will make good zipper pulls, I'm thinking, on my little project bags that I've been attempting. So I got that, and as well as just I think it was a half a yard of it's like a stitched, it looks like cross stitch, which I thought was so cute. The name of the fabric is Stitched, but I think this was just so cute, and I might make a project bag with that, and maybe even embroider on the stitched parts would be really cute, I think, with some floss, depending on how big it is. But we'll see. I just thought it was a nice little token to get from my retreat, day retreat. So I wanted to share that with you. And of course, meeting Katie, I'll pop in some pictures here. It was fun to see her, and she had brought her mom along as well. So at the beginning of the retreat, they give you a little card to fill out, and it's like introducing your friends that you're meeting at this retreat. So we filled that out, and I ended up being Katie's mother's partner in that. They would tell us their names, favorite food, and you kind of introduce each other to everybody else in the room. And I think there was about maybe 30 ladies there, which was so fun. And like I said, I will be going back. I'm hoping to attend the one in September. But being that it's during the week and I don't work, it should work out is what I'm hoping. If not, definitely in October again. But that's my plan for just connecting. I love to connect with people, and the quilt shop that I go to on Wednesdays has been fun. But since this one's on Wednesdays also, I'll end up going 3 times to the quilt shop because they're a weekly thing, and it's for hooking because I kind of picked that up as I've been going the last few months. So I bring my hooking project when I go there, and then of course the cross stitch will be at the boxcar quilts. So I want more of this in my life, and so that's kind of why I'm scheduling those kind of things. Boxcar quilts, lovely day, stitch in once a month out here in the country. They have retreat facilities as well, and the quilt shop is that first building up there. The event center's here in the middle, and they also have an antique shop here. So lots of fun looking around. It's in Aubrey, Texas, and it's Boxcar Quilts. Had a wonderful day, met a lot of new ladies, a few from Flosstube, which was kind of fun. But that was a neat little day stitch-in, about 30 to 35 minutes from my house. As for anything else besides visiting family with Briar, my grandbaby, it's kind of just get through this hot weather in the summer. I think next what we'll do, oh well, let me do this really quick. When I was at Boxcar, one of the ladies, Trish is her name, she had a container, and I of course love the color, and so I had to ask her where she got it, and of course I went right on to Amazon and found it, and of course it came. So this is another haul, but what I liked about it is it will carry all of my glasses, magnifying, chargers, that kind of thing when I am going somewhere, as well as the light that I use. What is it called? I always forget. The Halo Go. And so it just sits in there very nicely. And like I said, I've got other light things in here, a clip light if I need it, or the clips that go on your glasses for extra magnification. Those are in here, as well as my Halo Go bolt charger if I need to charge any of this stuff. And it just zips up nicely in here, and it has a handle to carry it in. And then I have a rolling cart thing that I put all of my projects in, and this will just sit in there nicely. So I just thought that was kind of neat. Of course, I was enabled while I was there, so that was a fun purchase in my color. So let me set these back here. So that's pretty much life the last month. I'll set this under here. Let's move to what I worked on this month, and we'll start with cross stitch. That way, if you want to leave after that, you don't have to listen to all my other crafts. I started, I didn't put these in the order they should be in, so let me do that really quickly. Oh, I forgot to mention a little organization that I did also this last month. was made up these little tags because I was watching Jessica from Sweetwater Stitcher last month, and she talked about getting ready for the end of the year and what she wanted to work on towards the end of the year. And I'll put in a clip of, you know, how I did this, but it's mainly so I could alphabetize all of my cross stitch in the closet, and so I would know where the designers, you know, A through Z, the ones that I have, and that way I could put, you know, my hand on what I was looking for by designer in the closet, like I do with my flosses, but I did it with my cross stitch patterns. So that was something that we'll insert a video here, and then we'll come back and I'll go through my cross stitch. Hi friends, it's Linda Richter Stitcher. I thought I would come on here. I get to watching Instagrams and of course all my YouTubes that I like to watch, and things start going in my head. So I wanted to kind of come on and share what I'm thinking plan-wise for my projects. I've been trying to figure out how can I work on the ones that I've started over the last 3 years, and it's probably been a little longer than 3 years, but just on Flosstube it's been over a year. In January it was a year, so year and a half of just keeping track of things. But I'm still finding all the ones that I've started, and of course I have a problem. I kit things up over actually stitching. I don't know if you all are like that. If I have it, I want to put the things that all go with it and have that ready. Today I was watching Jessica from Sweetwater Stitcher, and she was kind of throwing her plans out for the rest of the year, and it got me thinking, because I have been kind of in the back of my mind, I have that wheel app on my phone. It needs to be updated. There's things on there that either I've finished or I haven't decided, or I decided not to do again. So I need to update all that, plus all the ones that I've actually started 2 months ago, I guess it was, the SYS. I started about 6 new projects. And then even today I found myself kitting up some of the ones that still needed floss and fabrics. So that'll all be in my next Flosstube, what I've kitted up. But today anyway, she had mentioned on her Flosstube how she had organized her whips in boxes and things, and I had done that with my craft room challenge. I put them all in a place where I knew they were, but they weren't in any order. So what I did today is I actually alphabetized all of my whips, and I'm kind of doing it like Jessica said, by designer. And if I don't know the designer's name, I use their design company name, like instead of putting Candor and Nurser, I think are their names, from Twin Peak Primitives, I'm using Twin Peaks as where that goes, you know, A through Z. So Twin Peaks will be that designer, and you know, Stacy Nash, I think is Shepherd's Bush, if I'm not mistaken. So sometimes I'm unclear of what the designers' names are, so I will have them alphabetized by their company name. Like Sambria Stitches is Sambria Stitches Designs, I think is what it is. Instead of Becca Murphy, instead of the M, I'll put it under S. So that's kind of what I mean. But what I wanted to do is get, instead of using the bins like Jessica did, I have a lot of these floss tags that I've just cut up from the file folders that you get, because they're kind of that hard cardstock, and I've had these since my kids were in school, just stickers that I found enough black ones to put A through Z on each one. And then of course I have plenty of these rings. So what I'm going to do is, in the closet where I have them on the wall, and I can take you off here and show you, I don't have any that are Z, so some of these might get put in my little floss tag holder back here on the wall. But if I have an designer that has like Twin Peaks for tea, see if I can find the tea here. Here it is. I'm just going to put a ring on it, and on the bags that I use, they're those colored ones that you can get off Amazon. A couple things I didn't put them in those bags because either there's too many or they're too large for those bags. So I put them in those really extra large Ziploc bags. And I'll just be sure that if they're the only ones, I'll maybe punch a hole, because I have, you know, just a hole puncher into the top of the bag and slip the ring in that hole off to the side. So let me take you off here and I will show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to swing you around. My craft room needs a little bit of a cleanup, but it's not too bad actually. I'm going to take you off from here, I think. Might be easier. Yeah, I'll just lift you off here. Let's carry you over here where I keep all of my whips and share what I did. It's still on the same shelves, but what I've done is put all of my fully kitteds are here, and I might need to make a second set of these because I have the ones that are fully kitted but not started. So if I want to find a particular one, like this would be T for Twin Peaks, and I'm probably not sure if I can do this one-handed. We're going to try. Let's see. Let's see what letters we're at here. So that's F. This is going to be S. So, yep, that's an S. What do we have here? Oh, the Scarlet House would be T. But Tiny Modernist is T. So since I have a couple T's, where it starts, since that's Stony Creek, this is Tiny Modernist. I'm just going to, oops, you're not really seeing what I'm doing. Just going to put this ring on the zipper pull. And then if I want to see where the T's start, that's kind of what I'm talking about. So let me do that, and maybe I'll come back and show you what it looks like to be able to see that. But this row is my whips. Currently there's 32 on this shelf, but I have a few out and about in the house, so looks like I have a good 30 some whips going. And I really do want to work on them even a little bit. Like I said, with the wheel, you know, 1 or 2 days, if I'm wanting to do something, I can just spin the wheel and come in here and grab it so that it gets worked on and we can see some finishes. Because over the last 3 years I've probably only had, not even, I can't count them on both my hands probably. I can't even think, probably maybe 5 or 6 if I think back, but I'd have to go back and look at all my videos to do that, so I'm not going to do that. But for now, this is what's going to be the plan for the rest of the year anyway. I do have some sales that, of course, I've got myself sucked into because I just love to start things with other people. So I'll share those on my next Flosstube. But I'll upload this and maybe just post some pictures of what it looks like once I get these tags all alphabetized. But it feels good to know that they're A through Z on both of these shelves. So I'll need to make another set of these, which will probably be a weekend thing if I don't get to it today, because I still have some house chores to finish. But that's kind of where I think I'm going to leave it for today. I appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe, and we will be back soon. Bye-bye. Okay, friends. I got a second set made up, so I have 2 sets of each letter. I just got to put the rings on each one and put them in the closet there. But that worked out perfect. I feel much better about having them organized by designer so that I can easily find a chart if I'm looking for them. So I'm off to get some housework done and a few errands, and then I'll get these hung up. Okay, so now the things that I worked on this last month, I'll start with, it's from Cottage Garden Samplings. It's the Courage chart, and I started this on the 23rd of July, so towards the end of the month, but I was doing it with my mom going through all the things that she had gone through. She is also a breast cancer survivor, so when Pam put out that she was starting a hashtag, what does she call it, Pam's Survival Sale, I thought this would be a good one for my mom to remember her. So I kitted this up. It was, when you see my haul video, you'll see that I found the pattern, as well as I ordered it, as well as the fabric from 123 Stitch. So I just came home and of course did a Hobby Lobby run for all of the DMC, because I converted this for DMC on the chart, and made my little card, because I do want to keep organized in that sense that I have a card for each of the ones that I start. And I will share with you how far I got on the 28th. I think I worked on it twice, between the 28th or 23rd. The 23rd of the month is when I started this, and now. But it's just a small start. I don't know if I need my little thing in the back, but kind of get that out of the way. You get my design board. Some people say it helps to see. But I just did the start of the flower, I guess you would call it. And I really enjoy the variegated look of this. The flosses, like I said, are just DMC. But I guess it was the darker one that I used. Or actually, are these the right flosses? I think I got my flosses confused, because I was wanting to use, yes, I think I did. That goes to the other project we're going to do. I used these flosses, and the green that you just seen is, it's a sulky weight 12, and I got these, you know, in my cart over there. When I ordered these, I ordered some variegated as well as the solid colors, and that's what I kitted these up with. So it's not DMC. Don't know why I thought that. It's the Sulky Petites. So excuse me for getting that confused. I'm trying to remember what those go to. I better not get that confused. I'll set that off to the side. But that's the first one that I worked on last month and got, you know, a little ways. I'll keep going at it. And I'm not trying to finish it in any length of time, but like everybody, just you want to keep stitching. And I think the sales have really gotten me to focus more on stitching more. If I know somebody's doing a sale, then of course I want to do it as well. Get my notes out here. Oh, I know what those flosses were for. For the next one that I think I'll share. Or no, I've got the visitor, so let's do that one first. And that one was a start back on, when did I start this? July 3rd. So just, I've shared this last month where I got, and I will put in a picture of where it was when we had it last month. And then this time around, yeah, I've got all my flosses mixed up here. I'll figure it out. Yeah, these flosses that I'm using were my own conversion. I tried to just get as close as I could to the colors on this pattern. And like I said, there's Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colorworks are all in here. So that's the Blackberry Rabbit called The Visitor. And I started this one because Lisa from Lost in Stitches had shared it on hers, and I really fell in love with the bird and the bees and just the flowers that are around it. It's just my kind of a palette that I like to see when I stitch things. But this is how far I got, And these are the colors. I guess I can hold them both up. Let's do that. Sorry, I hope that's coming through. But I really enjoyed stitching on that. I've got more of the head, fully of the bird's head. And I'll keep going as well with that one. And I like the way that the Weeks dye work color that I'm using there. I think it's Island, or can't exactly remember. I shared it last time. Oh, there it is. I'll pull it here and tell you. It is Caribbean. Just like the variegated look of that. So I think I'll really enjoy what that's going to look like as I finish. I'm just going to set these off to the side. Put the things in here that belong together so we don't confuse anything. And the card. So that was a second thing that I had worked on. Some new starts this past month that I started. I'll share this next one. It's a hands-on design chart, and it's a freebie called Love You. And I started this one because August is my 40th anniversary with being married with my husband. So I thought this would make a cute little memento. But I'm not using the pink fabric since I'm giving it to him. I thought I would go ahead and use a 25 count Lugana called Steel Blue. And this is how far I've gotten so far. And these are the colors that I'm using. If I can get it in there properly. And it's coming out really good. I've got 4 colors on here, but for this pattern it's really only 2 colors. I started the arrow, and I just started this yesterday, so oops, I'm sorry, I wasn't even showing it to you, was I? There we go, let's do that again. So I started the arrow, and our anniversary isn't until the end of the month, so the 27th. So I think if I keep focused, I will be able to finish this in time. But the other colors that are on here are for these were free patterns from Hands-On Design, and she has another one, Kathy is her name, and it says Love You Too. So those are the other colors, because I've kitted it all up together in this one bag, and when I finish this one I do want to make a second one to go with that. And it is in a pillow, and I do have the little beads or letters for the word love, and I have plenty of fabric I can find, and then the cording I already have too. So I'm got it all together in this one little bag, and I'm hoping to have a finish next month that I can share with you. But no finishes for cross stitch this time around. I think I started too many things to actually finish something. And then another start, and like I was saying, when somebody's doing something and I hear about it, I want to get involved, so that's why I started this one. It's a Blackbird Designs out of the book Sewing Club. And let me get to the page. I think I marked it. Yeah, I did, without showing you the pattern. Do it this way. I'm not doing the whole drum. I'm just doing the top of the drum. And my plan is to use a pie tin and make a little pin cushion out of it. And that's kind of, the name on this is called Berry Wreath. So that's the plan for this one. And I started this one on the July 31st. And the reason I started it on the 31st was because of the hashtag that's going with it. Is hashtag Lisa's Blackbird birthday sale, and Lisa is from Lost in Stitches. If you watch her, she wanted to start that for her birthday, so of course I had to kit it up and find the 4 colors. These were the 4 colors that I had confused with the other ones, and they are all DMC colors, and they're kind of wrinkly because they were on those bobbins. I've had some of these flosses for many years, but I ended up using some floss tags and pulled them off, but it doesn't seem to be, you can't really see it on the project, how those wrinkles, which I was very pleased with. But let me share with you how far I've gotten, and I really enjoyed doing this. Let me put this behind it again. I hope my battery is still going. I'll have to check. But this is how far I've gotten on the top part so far. I'm very pleased with how it's coming out. And I didn't share what the fabric is that I'm using. Grab my little card. Yeah, it's on an 18 count natural, and I think those colors go really nicely with that. So I put a little butterfly needle minder with it, so it kind of helps me when I'm holding my needle. So that will also continue. I'm not going to put any of these ones away because I am anxious to finish them, and since they are sales and hashtags, I want to kind of keep those ones going if I can. So I keep them in a little basket next to the couch, and everything goes together. So those were the projects for cross stitch that I actually did something on. Some of them were new starts, and then the others were ones that I just had continued on. So I'm going to set those down there. And let me get rid of these so we're not knocking anything over. I'll set them there. And let's see where we're going to move next. I covered that. So yes, with my plans for cross stitch, I'll go to that for what I'd like to keep going on are those few that I just shared with you. And then besides our anniversary in August, it's also my birthday month. So I've been trying to think what would be a good birthday start. And I have a couple options, and I might end up starting them both, but I'll share those two with you right now because they are also fully kitted. Some of them got fully kitted just before I started recording, and then others I had just finished collecting the flosses for this past month. So I'll share those with you. I think I mentioned this chart in the past that I think Laura from the Serial Starter had mentioned that she started it, and I've seen a few others actually talk about starting it. It's from the Wishing Thorn, and it's the Tyndale Sisters Samplers 1840. Well, I had the chart in my stash, and I had listened to Laura, and she had mentioned that they had the flower threads from the kit for these charts, so I had ordered those, and they did come, and you'll probably see it in my haul video. If not, you're seeing them here. But it's a set of 11, and those will go with this. And then I finished fully kitting that just, when did I finish kitting that? I didn't put the date, but it was just a couple days ago when I had gone to Hobby Lobby. I had picked up a 28 count, and I haven't decided quite yet which is going to look better with those colors, but they're both 28 counts. One is a white and one is an ivory, so I picked those two up, and it's plenty large enough on a 28 count. I figured out how much I would need and made sure that these were the right size. At least I think they are. I will double check it for sure. So that was an option for a birthday start because I'm on a sampler kick for some reason. I've just fallen in love with them all, and I want to start them all. So why not if they're kitted, right? So that was one option for my birthday start, as well as, you all know Annie, the Proper Stitcher. She is now designing charts, so when I had seen that last month, I had to buy at least one right now, and I went with a smaller one, but I think it's doable. I don't know how long it'll take me, but this is the one that I kitted up just right before I started videoing. It's the Caroline Carter 1823. I hope I'm not too close. And then the bag that I wanted to use, I was going to make one, but just I'm in the process of making a different one. But I had remembered I had a sampler looking bag that I think I got from either Hands Across the Sea, or it might have come from the Wishing Thorn. I can't remember. But I remembered it was in my closet with all of my other bags. So I think that's what I'm going to put Caroline in and use that. And I ended up kitting it with the fabric that I had gotten at 123 Stitch. You'll see that in my haul. And it's a 18 count vintage country mocha. And what I did is I opened up the chart to see what the colors looked like and got as close as I could with what silks. And there's one sulky cotton, but all the rest are silks, either Krynic, NPI, or Trinway, I think is how you say it. So I put it all on my card, what I converted it to. The only question I'm having is the light green that they're using in the chart. I remembered I had this Silken Colors that I had found and purchased at 123 Stitch when I was there, and I'm wondering if the two greens together, on the chart it looks really light, so I went with more of a Krynic really light green. So I'm thinking I might going to try that one first. And if it doesn't look right on the fabrics, I will change to the brighter green. But when you look at the chart, which I just put in the bag prematurely, it's really light. They're these little, they look like heart trees. I don't know if you can see that from the plastic in there. But I don't know if I want them to be brighter, because you really can't see them on that fabric. So that's why I put them in this bag next to the fabric. And that might even be the opposite side, because I think this is a screen print where the marbling is on the other side. So I'll have to open it up and put those two colors next to it and see, because yeah, I'm pretty sure it's folded on the inside, because this country mocha has like a marbling to it where there's a dark and a light beige. But I'm liking the light green with this dark green, because a couple of those, like these patterns here, they have the light and the dark in them next to each other. So when I put those next to each other, I like the way those contrast each other. So that's my plan for that one. So I'll either start this on my birthday, or it could be an anniversary start. Even though I'm making that one from Hands On Design, maybe I could do this on my actual day of our anniversary. We'll see. Lots of choices actually, but they are all kitted, but I'm really anxious to start them all. So let me put that in the bag so I don't forget what they go to. So I've been doing a little bit of kitting up this month. As always, it seems like I always am kitting something up. But that means if I'm stuck in the house or we have another pandemic, I'll have plenty to do. So that was that. I covered that. Oh, there was one more. So I'll just share right now the rest of the things that I kitted up. This pattern was one that I had done years ago when I first started stitching in the 80s, and I gave it to a friend, but I kept the chart. It's a friendship collection, and it says it's a company called the Dutch Touch, somewhere in Pennsylvania, but it says a friend is a gift from God. And it came with this little button looking little girl. So I'll have to go through my stash and kind of see what I have that can replace that, or keep an eye out while I'm out and about and see if I can't find a little button that would go nicely. But I kitted that up because I want to make it for someone. And of course I filled out my little card, and it calls for an 18 count. So I picked up an 18 count Aida. And then I just went into my stash for the DMCs, because that's what they call for. And as you can see, the ones that are on the bobbins are the ones that I had from years ago. And there's still plenty of them on there, but I wasn't sure if it was enough. So when I was at Hobby Lobby, I went ahead and picked up those colors just to have. And there was a couple that I didn't have, like the darker green, so I picked up one of those, and the darker red and the medium red. But all the other colors I had in my stash, so I thought it would be good to do that one again. I've never repeated a pattern, but it's been long enough where it'll be fun, I think, and quick, because it's not very big. Another one that I've been kitting up for a little while, but I finished it by finding the fabric and a few more flosses that I had purchased from Leo and Roxy, and you'll see that in my haul as well. But there's actually 5 colors here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm only needing 4, but I did put all my Leo and Roxy's on a ring. And I just have to make up my mind, maybe doing a floss toss when I figure out the pattern. And I should share that first, what I'm talking about. It's the Modern Folk Embroidery. I collected these when they, oops, I'm dropping things, when they came out in 2021 with Modern Folk Embroidery. I forget his name. You know who I'm talking about. But when I kitted this up, I told myself back in May of 2022 is when I put a few of these blues that I already had together, and I purchased them from Evertote, Caroline, and said I was just going to do the 2 blues. But after watching Lisa on Lost in Stitches, she's doing it, I guess it's called in the reverse, which is 4 colors. I have to, of course, look at my chart and figure out which 4 colors would go best. But I do want the blues and the whites, like I mentioned earlier. I'm liking the blue and white this time of year, and I thought if I could have a piece done in blue and white, I would do that. So depending on how much I need for each color will depend on if I do it in 2 or 4 colors, but I would like to try it on 40 count so that it's not too big. But I have a Zweigart Alabaster, and then of course these colors, so I just have to figure out which ones go with the reverse. But it's the Fruit of Plenty is the name of that. So that was another one that I made sure I had the fabric, the floss, and of course the pattern. So I'm looking forward to figuring that out. If not this next month, then maybe in October. But we'll see. That'll be on my radar to start as well, now that it's fully kitted. And then I did finish kitting up August. I thought maybe I'd start it at the beginning of August, but today is only the 5th, so I'm hoping to start this one as well, just because it's August. But I got all of the flosses, the DMCs, what I converted it to. I'm not sure if that's what it was called for or not, but I also put it's a 28 count linen is what this calls for, and this is that Irish linen. So these colors on here, can't really see it with my floss tags that I've got, but I'm pretty sure that will go nicely. So that's going to be a start this month. So as I talk about plans as well as what I've kitted, that was another one. So I think that's pretty much it for cross stitch. I appreciate you listening and staying along with me. Make sure all this goes back together. And if you want to hear what else has happened this past month, then you can stick around. Oops. Put that in there. So that's those plans. But that was quite a bit of cross stitch for me, because last month I think it was a lot of crochet, which will probably, let's see, make sure I did it all. Yep. Now let's go on to sewing. There's things that I started and worked on this past month for sewing. Going to start with this little guy here. I put it in my little, this was my mom's when I went to see her in February. She let me bring this little sewing box home. So because of that, again, I think it was Brenda and Laura I was watching, and they had mentioned Susan Standley and a doll quilt that I think Laura wanted to learn how to hand sew. I've done a little hand sewing, but nothing major, like embroidery and things like that. So I wanted to try this, and that's why I went ahead and collected all the supplies back on, I think it was the 16th of July. A little bit at a time I was able to get all of the different supplies, and I'll share that with you. Of course, on her YouTube, Susan Standley, if you go on there, she has all the different things that you use. She's got a kit. I think she's still putting them together and mailing them out, and she's trying to get as close to the 1840s, 1800s, how they used to sew. So I kind of wanted to stay in that area and use the things that she talked about without having to buy the kit, because I buy too much already. So I thought I would look what I had and use that. So I did get a pair of scissors, shears to have, as well as the needles that she recommended. I ordered those on Amazon, and they are a size 9 sharp needle for the embroidery. I didn't have the type of board that she was, chipboard, or I forget what it's called, but she recommended an OmniGrid 2.5 acrylic piece to cut your pieces with. So I already had that on my rulers, and then I tried to cut a piece that was just slightly smaller, because this is what makes your lines that you will sew on, and it's all hand stitched, so that's kind of what the intent was. She's using silks, so when I was at 1-2-3 Stitch, I had found quite a few, maybe 5 or 6 different spools of the 103 of Vera Soie. So I'm using right now the lighter one to sew the pieces together, and with the floss they recommend beeswax, and that's kind of what she's been using because it makes it easier to go through the fabric. So I had bought a whole bag of these beeswax, so I have plenty for probably many years to come. So I just put it in a little bag to keep it in there, and that's what you run your flosses through. So just collecting and putting all this together was fun for me as well, and thinking about little girls putting their sewing kits together. And then she talked about thimbles on one of her YouTubes, so I tried a couple that didn't really fit on my middle finger. So of course I had this somewhere in my craft room, but it fits perfect on my finger, and of course it's got that blue color, which I love, but this is what I've been using to push the pin in and out and try to get used to using that. And like she says, you kind of forget that's on your finger, but it doesn't fall off either. So she just says be sure you're comfortable with the thimble that you use. So that was in there, as well as a pencil because you're drawing. And then the needles that she recommended were the Karen K. Buckley pins, not needles, pins, because you need a few pins. So I found those on Amazon, the Karen K. Buckley pins, and that's what I'm using there. So I tried to stay as true to how she was doing it. I'm not sure how she did her threads, but I know she mails them. But I put them in 18-inch strips, and then I folded them into paper so that I can just pull a thread when I need it. So I have a few of those ready to go. And then I will share the fabrics that I'm using. and then the actual progress that I've done. I had to cut each piece because you're going to have your binding, and I didn't have old fabrics, so what I did is I tried to look for if I had any reproduction fabrics that kind of looked similar. So I cut my binding and then backing. So the quilt itself is only going to be so big. It's a little doll quilt, and I am planning to give this to my granddaughter and find a little doll bed and a doll, of course. But this will be her first doll quilt, and it'll be all hand stitched by her grandma. So I got the backing and that, and then you need batting. So I cut all those, and those are ready to go, and they all fit in here perfect. And then what I did is I took the 4 patches, is what these are going to end up being. I used mostly Liberty of London fabrics that I had. I thought this would be the perfect time to use them. And I've posted pictures, and I can put one in here of how I had it all laid out before I clipped them and put them all on little paper clips. So I need to sew each of these together with that thread that I mentioned. There's going to be enough to spread it out as big as that backing was, so it'll all go. So there's a mix of Liberty of London fabrics, and then the older blue ones that I had in my stash. They kind of reminded me of vintage type fabrics, so I'm going to use those. And then the backing and binding that I showed you, those were the reproduction fabrics that I had. I forget the line. I want to say it's a Benetex, I think is how you say it. It was from that line. And I got 1 or 2. Actually, I got 2. I don't know why I clipped those together. I'm going to take the little clips off, and I'll put them back on so I can share what I did. I've done 4, it looks like, 2 patches. So that's the goal, is to hand sew them together, and then these 4 will turn into, because I'll show you here, there we go, 2 of each, and then I've got to sew these 2 together. That's why I had them clipped. So these 2 will get sewed together, and they will be opposite each other, and that will be one block. And I think she said there's 12 blocks, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the plan, and that's how far I've gotten so far. I've only done a few, and then this one will be opposite each other, and this will be another block. So I got 4 2 patches sewn together, and then when I get these 2 done, I'll have 2 blocks done. But this is something I can do in the car, or sitting in front of the television while we're watching the news or whatever in the evenings. And Sundays I've been finding that it's been easy to sit and do this kind of stuff when I'm home. She recommends to start, before I started that, I went ahead and did a test stitch, and don't look too closely, but I guess as you do it you get a little straighter. So this is where I started, and then by the time I got to the end over here, it was a little straighter. So I think if I keep going with the stitches, and I'm happy with the way these look on here, I'll just keep going. I forgot to clip that one, so let me clip that one really quick. So that's the project from Susan Standley, her doll quilt, hand stitching it all together. So I'm anxious to get that and keep going with it. It's just it's relaxing, and it's fun to do it with other people. Like I said earlier, if somebody else is doing it and it's something I enjoy, I'm going to want to do it too. So let me put all this back in here. That was one start that I did this past month, and was very glad to get that going. I'll set that back there. Another start that I did is this project bag that I've been wanting to start, and I want to do a lot more, but this one was a little more involved, and this one's from Nicole Spohr is her name on YouTube. If you're looking to find a very pretty project bag, I recommend hers. But this is how far I've gotten, and I came across a little bit of a conundrum, and I will probably post a YouTube of how I put this together as separate from my Flosstube. But got all my pieces for a second one going, so because I do want to do this again. Probably not the same type of quilting, but as you can see, this is what the front of the bag will look like. It's ready to have these bindings stitched on, but I've changed my mind on the color of this rim, because it's this color here, but I don't have enough long strips for the binding, and I don't want them not to match. So I want the same color in the zipper area. That's where the zipper is going to go, as well as the binding to match. So I found the same line, but a brighter green, and I think it'll be fine for a binding. It goes really well. So I'm just going to unclip these and make my strips for this. I'll use these on another bag, probably that bag if I think about it. I'll have to think, or another blue bag, but I think this fabric here that I have will go better for a binding and the zipper. That's the plan. And then I'll change out this zipper because I have another one that'll match this green fabric better. And this is the back of the bag, so I'm almost there to where I can sandwich it together. Not quite. That's the lining on the inside. It's got all the words for stitching. And then this is the back of the bag, or the front of the bag. So this will be the back and this will be the front. I hope I'm not too close. And then the zipper has to go in. So that's the project that it's still in progress, but I will post and you'll see it on my social media when it finishes. But it's been fun. It took a while to quilt it, but I enjoyed that type of quilting. But Nicole Spohr is her name, and she has a project bag tutorial. I started that on the 25th of July. And then the other thing I worked on for sewing was these design boards from Lori Holt. I wanted to make some of my own because I don't want to buy if I can help it. So I purchased a bunch of white batting because a couple of the ones that I made have that cream batting, and I prefer the white. So I bought a huge roll of that. So I did buy things, and I cut out a bunch of this poster board, I guess is what it's called. So I'm going to make a bunch of small ones because I like to have these next to my machine when I put, you know, my fabrics and stuff that I need to sew next to the machine on them. So that's in progress as well. It's not done yet. I have some thicker styrofoam, but I think I'm probably not going to do, I mean I could for bigger design boards, but I like the thinner ones, so I think I'm going to stick to those, and these can get thrown away. So I changed my mind thinking I was going to cover those, but I think I'll just cover these small ones with that. So that's also a sewing in progress. And then I didn't share this, but in my plans for sewing, besides what I just shared, I found this book called Just Two Charm Packs, and it kind of made me want to see what pre-cuts I had, and I wanted to get them organized in a different system, because right now I was just putting colors in my bins that are around the table here, and it's really not working for me. So what I want to try to do is separate the charm packs and the 2.5-inch squares, as well as the half-yard cuts, because I also have a book called Half-Yard Cut Quilts or something. I can't remember. I think it's, yeah, I'll have to share it next time. But you use a half a yard of fabric to make a quilt. So I have a bunch of half-yard cuts of fabric, and I want to put those in one area, because I think that's kind of the way some of these projects on the left over here have started, and that's kind of how I want to keep them going. So that's got me organizing my fabrics again. So in September you might hear or see on my Flosstube all of that. Other than sewing, I think plans, the Quilt Plano 2023 is happening on the 11th through the 12th. So I do want to go on the 11th, which is a Friday. So I plan to attend that and see what I see. Hopefully I won't buy too much. We'll have to see if it's a payday or not. But I do want to go to the quilt show this year. I missed it last year, and the previous 2 years ago I attended, but I get these in the mail, so when I seen that it was happening this coming Friday, I am planning to attend that. I did have a crochet finish, which is a very small finish. I mentioned it last month. My what do you call this? The fabric or the yarn that I was using, I had extras, so I started a little dishcloth or pot holder that I finished, and it's just a simple little square, but I did finish that crochet. And then I found where I kitted something that I do want to start. I haven't started it yet. Excuse me while I lean over. But it was a free pattern that I'd seen on YouTube, and I love games, and so this crochet pattern for a checkerboard game is what I got all kitted up and ready to go for crochet. So this will probably be my crochet project the next couple months, hopefully. I got my needle in here and the pattern, and then I took my ball winder and got them all on my little balls and the colors that I'm going to use, the reds and the grays and the black for the checker pieces. So that's ready. If we go to the lake or whatever, I'll have it all kitted and ready to go. So that was for crochet. Lastly, I think, well, I mentioned my organization that I did, and I will put the video in for that here at the end for how I organized my cross-stitch pieces in the closet, if anyone's interested. Besides that, everybody's been talking about these sewing boxes, and I've been looking for the ones that Colorado Cross Stitch, I think, is who I seen it. She had said the name of the box that zips, and I'm still looking for one, so I would love to try to make one of those. But I remembered I had this little box from when I was in high school and it's totally empty. There's nothing in it. So my plan and hopes for this anyway is to, you know, put the little straps here, and so I can hang my things in here and have this sit next to my stitchy spot. Since I have an on-the-go bag, and I've shared that in the past, that I take with me for cross stitch when I'm sitting next to my chair or whatever, wherever I'm cross stitching, I thought this would make a cute little bag to put like my hoop, if I have a small hoop, or my cross stitch needles. And then there's extra needles in here. I've got a little magnet board here that I can put my magnet or my needles on, and then my thread winder can fit in here. It fits perfect. So totally empty. I just thought I could come up with something like they were doing with those zippy bags. So hopefully I can get to that this month. But I wanted to share an on-the-go box for cross stitch, as well as one that I can sit next to my chair. I have the stands from R&R Woodworks that I've purchased, as well as these thread winders. I've got a couple of those. So having those tools next to my stitchy area I thought would be kind of nice to have. But I'd also like to find one of the zip boxes that everybody was using. But since I use this, I probably don't need it. So those is what I wanted to share for this Flosstube. Might do a Flosstube extra this next month coming up if I have time. When I finish that project bag, I'd like to share all of the project bags that I've made as well as purchased from other Etsy shops. And my goal is to try to have a bag for every project that I start, and right now I'm using a lot of zippy bags that I purchased off Amazon, so making them to go along with the patterns that I'm doing is kind of the goal. Or I bought a bunch of ones from Lori Holt that I can put together. Just having those hand sewn type project bags is what I would really like to lean towards. So maybe a Flosstube Extra coming up will be the project bag tutorial, as well as how I made that one, as well as the ones that I currently have and use. So besides that, I think that's it for Flosstube 17. I appreciate you following me, and again, hopefully be back in September for 4 weeks and share what all I've done. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, friends, I wanted to come on real quick and slip this video in here for my haul. I guess you'd call this maybe a unboxing, because some of these things aren't opened yet. But the last month, we're just about to the end of July, so this recording is a little earlier than my Flosstube, but I just wanted to get some of this in a clip so that we don't have to do it on the actual recording of the Flosstube. It makes it less time consuming. So a few fabrics that I got from Hobby Lobby. I should get my glasses on, which are way back here. I'll reach without pulling you over. Get some glasses on so I can read. So in the last month I've been to Hobby Lobby and of course Etsy, Amazon, 123 Stitch, and I think that was about it. Oh, and one of a new designer that I found, the Proper Stitcher Annie. I got something from her shop recently that she just designed and put out. But this one's a 28 count even weave, and it's 14 by 18 inches. So I got a white as well as an ivory in the 28 count, so 2 of those, a 16 count white as well as a 16 count ivory. So I wanted the 2 different colors in different counts. So I noticed I didn't have very many, I guess that would be 32 counts, so I thought having a 16 count on hand in case I come across something that needs that. But those are the 4 fabrics there. I'm probably gonna have to get scissors for that big box, but we'll do that last. This was a Target find, pretty sure, in their clearance aisle because of the 4th of July being over. I just thought it would make a cute patriotic display, just to kind of put it in the star, and then it stands. I don't know if you can see that on the back. It was just $1.25. But I could even use this as a finish if I wanted to on the base of it, and just have the star standing too. But just thought that would be nice in my stash. Another fabric that I found was a 32 count Murano. It's called Ice, so I got that one. So quite a few fabrics to put in my stash. These I bought specifically for a few that I wanted to kit up, so I got I want to say there's 24 here of DMC. So let me stick these back into their little container. Easier to store and put away if I have things inside something. I'm not sure if I had a clip in here already for a couple of these items, but like I said, when I went to 123 Stitch, they had a little area in the front a couple weeks back that had a few patterns and things. So this was one of the ones I found, called Rejoice Evermore by Brenda Gervais, and I just thought it was beautiful, so I said that's going with me. So I just love the houses and the birds. I'm trying to think if it has, doesn't seem to be really large. Well, it's pretty large, 251 by 248. For me, that's large. Might take me a while to do it, but just the look of it, I can see myself starting something like that. And then I had ordered this from 123 Stitch, so it was something I was picking up. So I'm not sure if I shared these already or not, but A Christmas Carol by Twin Peak Primitives. Getting myself ready for some fall and holiday stitching. And then I listened to a YouTuber, her name is Lori from Quilting in the Country, I think is her name on YouTube. But she was sharing on a Wednesday stitch that she was doing. One of the things was a Fab Farm, is what it was called, by Elizabeth Hartman. And I just fell in love with the animals. I was thinking something like that for my grandbaby would be cute. Maybe when she turns 2, which isn't too long from now. So maybe her next birthday, this could be her quilt. I'd love to make her a quilt a year if I can. One when she was born, I made her something. It wasn't a quilt for her first year's birthday, but it was handmade. So something handmade every year is my plan. So I was thinking of that for her. I needed some batting, one in white, and this is a queen size. Sorry if my microphone's hitting, but I'm not sure if I'll share but in my Flosstube or not, but I was cutting up a bunch of these poster boards and I want to cover them with this batting for a few more of these design boards, but different sizes is my plan, because I really do use them a lot when I plan a project. So having these sizes are good when you're making 10-inch blocks. So that's my plan for the warm and white. I needed to get that. I'll set that over here with the project maybe. There. I'm going to grab some scissors here. Non-fabric scissors. This one came from the designer I was talking about, the Proper Stitcher Annie. She's recently put out some charts, and when I seen this one, I had to get it. I will share with you. She's wrapped it in tissue paper, and it doesn't look like it got folded. There's a little bit of a bend in it, but I think it'll be okay. Sorry for the noise. Try to do this quickly. Tissue paper. Okay, there we go. We're out. This one's called Caroline Carter, 1823. I think I'll take it out of the plastic so that you don't see that shine. But it doesn't look very large either to me, and I don't think it is. It's not. It's only 91 by 97, so I'm thinking I could finish something like that. And I just love the look of the samplers lately. And this one is, I'm trying to think what she said about it. Oh, it doesn't say on the back here, but 1823. It is a reproduction sampler. And I think it's, she didn't add her own, what do you call that when you do that? Reimagined, I think was how she said it. I think this one is an actual reproduction. So I like the little hearts down here, and it's mirrored on both sides the same, which is kind of interesting looking. So that'll be a fun stitch. And I'm actually waiting on a couple threads from the Wishing Thorn. I wanted to try the threads that she had listed on her website. The ones I got for that one were for the Tyndale sisters. So that one, those will be used for that. But for something like this, I was thinking either Sulky Petites. I do have some NPIs, which is also called for in here, so I'll just have to see which numbers I have. And then DMC. So, and I actually, no, I don't think it was this one that I was looking at Hobby Lobby for, but Hobby Lobby is real close. I can easily get the few if I don't have them, but some of them I can even just see here that I know I have 310 and I have E-Crew in my supply, so I know I have those. 3347 is a familiar one as well, so maybe 4 or 5 others that I'll need to pick up, but I would love to start something like that, maybe as an anniversary start or a fall start, something soon this year. I'm hoping to get that one started. So that was from them. I'm going to trash this and set this with that because that's what that's for. And I'm going to keep it in here just because it reminds me where I got it from. Another package here. This one says it came from Thrift Books. Trying to remember what I ordered from them. I think it's a quilt book, if I'm not mistaken. I've been wanting to get it for a while. No damage here on myself with these scissors, or no cutting into it. Oh yeah, there we go. So we're getting unboxing. Yeah, it's a quilt book that I've been wanting, and just went ahead and said, with all the fabrics that I have collected, this would be a good book to have. And it's by Cheryl Brickley, or Bricky, I think is how you say it. It's called Just 2 Charm Packs. So I know I have a good 2 boxes full of charm packs that I can use 16 patterns in here. So it will help me use up some of my stash. I can share maybe a few pictures here. What they look like, the one on the back cover. Here's another one. Just some really cute, easy, it looks like wouldn't be too hard to make some of these. String lights. That'd be a good Christmas one in some Christmas fabrics. Let's see which other ones. Oh, this is a cute one. If you like circles. So just some really cute patterns in here. And I think I was watching one of my lives that I watched for my quilting, Pink Sands Beach Designs. They had mentioned this in there, and then I was watching someone else that had mentioned, I think it might have been Fat Quarter Shop, Just 2 Charm Packs. So that's why I went ahead and went to the Thrift Books, and that's just an online book place that I've been getting quite a few books from. I got a few of my sampler books from them as well. So they have good prices, and if you're looking for older books that you can't seem to find, they tend to have some of those. Let's see what else before the big one. Oh, this stuff here. We have just a few placemats and napkins. I was at Hobby Lobby, like I said, and another YouTuber that I follow, I can't think of her name. I'll put it below. But she has a tutorial on how to make a project bag from a cotton placemat tutorial. Might be by Annie's now that I'm thinking of it, but either way, I purchased a red checked one. I thought that would make a cute bag. You can fold it and then fold it this way and put a zipper in it. Is pretty much the tutorial, but that would make a nice size bag for that. And then they had these at Hobby Lobby, and they're just napkins, but I thought these also could be used for a project. It has a little bee on it. So I got 2 of those, as well as the placemat to match. And what I was thinking for this, because it's already got a lining on the back, and then I can add a handle. I just thought this would make the cutest little bag with a bee on it, and just put a handle over the top. And wouldn't that make a cute little bag? I just thought that was adorable. And they only had one, or I would have probably bought a couple and given away some for gifts. But for a cute little bag, even to put things in, or as a purse, I mean, it was too cute. I couldn't pass that up. And everything at Hobby Lobby this week was on sale, so that's pretty much when I purchase is on sale. At least I tried to. So those were a few of the things from Hobby Lobby, as well as a size 12 pearl cotton, and this one is a DMC. I'm just seeing what number it is. It says 814, but it's a really deep, rich red, which I'm thinking I have a couple already that are similar, and I just thought for projects I would like to try and start using this kind of floss as well. And that just gets stored over here. I'm starting to collect a few at a time in my little drawers. So a few whites, a few ivories, now another dark and a variegated blue and red. So it's been fun to just one at a time. Even you start collecting and getting enough to do a project with. Then these also were very inexpensive. I think they were like $5, but they're just 2 white shelving units, and depending on what I put on them, I have some of those Velcro strips that might work on this wall over here. I was noticing is empty, and I can display a few finished objects up there, I'm thinking. So they're white, which will go perfect in here. So that was another purchase, and I think that's it besides this big box here. And this is a sewing need that was needed, because the one that I have is one corner of it I can't really use because it's warped. So I went ahead on Amazon to find this one's a gray color, but it's one of these what do you call them? The rotary mats that you cut your fabrics on. So this one, as you can tell by the size of the box, is pretty big, but it will go on the other side of the table so that I don't have to have so many different size cutting mats on here. So I will unbox this and show you how big it is, whoops, without cutting myself. That way I can get rid of the box. It doesn't have to sit around until next week. There we go. Easy open. Hopefully it's easy to get out. Oh yes, perfect. And it's not bent up. I like that it came that way. There we go. The one I have now is green, which I don't mind, but I'm thinking the light color will be nice. But it is a Fiskars, and I know they have a good guarantee and warranty on these if anything happens to them. So this will be nice on the top of my table. And what I'll do is I'll shift my green one that way, and then this can be my new cutting surface. So that was the other haul that I got this month. And other than that, unless something comes before Monday, I won't have too many things in that video to share. And then the other side is kind of a darker gray, so I'll have to decide which one I like better. But it's a 2-sided cutting mat. Self-healing is what it says, and it says limited lifetime warranty, so I'll just have to read what that's about. But it's 24 by 36, and that's the size of my table from side to side, so it'll be good. I'll just have to put some fabrics on here and see which side is easier to read when I'm cutting. And this time I will not accidentally leave my iron is what I did, but thinking that you don't set it on it, but the heat from underneath it warped the corner of my other one, so every time I go to use it there's a wobble to it and I can't cut on it. So I'll shift it to the other side where I don't cut and use this newer one on this side. So that was more of a need than a want. So back to the Flosstube, and we will catch y'all later. Okay, we're here again, friends. Another clip of haul that has come since my last Flosstube. One came in the mail yesterday and I haven't opened it yet, and a couple of them came a couple days ago, so I ended up opening them, but I will share those. You all know, I forgot her first name, Evertotes in Canada. My mind went blank. It's evening on August the 2nd. It's been a busy day, but I wanted to stick these in here as things arrive. It just makes it easier on the floss tubes. Leo and Roxy floss is what I was looking for. There's a few pieces that I've been wanting to try these on, and I'm thinking the blue colors that I purchased. I'm trying to think if they have the names on here. I don't see an actual name, but they were on her website. Oh yes, one is Cosmo. Let me take it out of this plastic so I can actually read what the names of them are. And that's the kind of the royal blue look. But I have not used her flosses yet, and I do have a few others that I purchased. And I was thinking of using them on one of the starts that I want to do. And it was the one from, I can't think of it now. In my floss tube I'll probably mention it, but these are the blues. That's called Cosmos. So I got 3 of those, and then the other one that I have, I think I've shared it before. It's a more green color, or actually a lighter blue than that. So it's kind of like a baby blue. So I thought that one and the baby blue, I was going to try to do it on the chart that I was talking about last time that Lisa from Lost in Stitches was doing in the reverse. I think she used 3 or 4 colors if I'm not mistaken. So that was my purpose in getting these flosses, is because I wanted to see if I could kind of use some of these flosses in that blue kind of a range. This one's called Minty Fresh. Of course I had to get that one. I don't know if you're seeing the actual color. The sun's going down here, and tried to light it up in here as much as I can. But each of these have 8 yards or 7.3 meters, and they are cotton flosses. So I am looking forward to trying these. And then the other 2 that I got were called Sandcastle, and they're kind of a cream beige. So I'm not sure in that particular piece how many skeins it will take, but I am going to try to do the, actually, yeah, I think it was a modern folk embroidery pattern now that I'm thinking of it. And she did it in the reverse, so I was thinking I was going to try that with just a few of the Leo and Roxy flosses. So I'm hoping to start that one. If not in August, it'll hopefully be before the end of the year, because it really appeals to me. So those came from Evertotes, and it didn't take too long because I think I ordered those maybe a week ago. So she's pretty fast about getting things out. And then the other purchase I did was from Brigitte, the wishing thorn. I had been watching, I think it was Deb and Liz, if I'm not mistaken, or no, the Cereal Starter, I think that's who I was watching. They had ordered the packet for the Tyndale sisters, which I had purchased a while ago, and there's a packet just for these 2 particular charts with their flower threads. Maybe it was Brenda and Laura, which is the Cereal Starter, but she showed them on there, so I had to go online to see if they still had the packet, and they did. So here is her card. If you think that you might want to look on her website, she's got wonderful patterns. And then of course you can get these flower threads through her website. But these ones are called Ginny Thompson flower threads. I think that's the name. And I opened them today when I was at a stitch-in with someone, and got to meet Katie from So Tattered, and I shared them with her, and I just had not seen them before. I'm going to try to get up close, so I'm going to come around this way and see what I'm showing you. But I was thinking they were more than one strand a piece. I'm not going to take them out of the plastic, but they are just one strand, and they are, I guess, I don't know if they're 100% cotton. It just says that they're cotton flosses made in the USA. Yeah, it does say 100% cotton right there. So these are there's 1, 2, 3, I think 11 in this bag, and apparently this will do these Tyndale sister charts. I'm not sure which one I want to start with, but of course I need to find out what linen I can use with it. It calls for vintage country mocha, so I'm hoping to kit this one with the fabric, and then this one will have a fully kitted supply. But I am excited to try some different flosses, and that's kind of what I've been doing lately, is getting more than just DMC. And I've kitted up a lot of things that I've put all of my classic colorworks in. I still have some under there, but it's getting pretty low, so I don't want to buy any more until I finish some things. But it is fun to kit things up as well, so I do enjoy that. And then lastly, for today anyway, I'm hoping to get my Flosstube together in the next week. So it's August 2nd, so I'm hoping by the 7th to have my next one up. I think I'm going to need scissors, which thankfully are right here. And this one is not cross stitch related, this is fabric related, so I needed a couple things and went online from one of my Etsy shops called, let's see if it's on here, just her name is Ashley, but I'm sure her card is in here, so I'm going to do an unboxing really quick without cutting the fabric. And I just loved some of the prints that were on her site, and one of them goes with a few projects I have going, so that's why I was ordering. Oh, it's the So Crazy Happy Etsy shop. So that's the name if you're looking for some fabrics. And you can also use these fabrics for finishing too. They're 100% cottons, which I love. But I bought a couple. Oh, that's empty now. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I think one of them is, or 2 of them are just a half a yard, and then the other 2 are a full yard. But I'm doing a pattern, or I purchased a pattern, and I wanted to have this for finishing, called Little Women. And so this is the fabric from Little Women, and I got 2 from that line. That's just got the ladies on there, and the man that is in that Little Women story, if you love that. So that's a half a yard. And then I also got, I'm going to untie it here, little ribbon, could probably use that for finishing. I shouldn't save everything, but when I want to finish some things, that's kind of my thinking. And then I got the ones with the houses, so very pretty. Gotta have houses. So the line is called Little Women, and it's by Jill Howarth, and it was back in 2022 from Riley Blake Designs. So those are the blue houses in like baby blue, and then of course I got the one that was in the mint green. So there's 2 of those. And then these ones are library books, because Little Women, I had to get, I'm thinking project bags is what I'm thinking. So the books with the Little Women. I'm in the process of making a project bag, but I'd like to have ones for the patterns that I'm stitching, kind of coordinate. So the library books will go with the Little Women lining and fronts and back, and then the houses might be, you know, it just depends on how I do it. I could do the houses in the inside or lining inside, and these one in the back and one in the front. So that was my purpose in getting those. And then I'm doing a coffee quilt that I've been collecting the fabrics for, and I thought this white and black one would make a nice collection with the ones that I've already collected. It's a Coffee Chalk is the name of the line, and let me see if it says it is also a Riley Blake design. But yeah, it's called Coffee Chalk, like chalkboard. So that's a full yard of that as well. So nice quality fabrics. I enjoy the shops that I've found on Etsy that carry the good quality fabrics. So I will put all these away and we will get back to the Flosstube. Thank you.
She goes to that and pets it.
Hi. Hi.
Oh, that's adorable. Say hi.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yay.
Remember these buttons? You push those buttons. Now play. It changes the